Welcome back, and in this video, I'll show you how to use local scripts and the differences between the server and client. So let's go ahead and begin. Let's first talk about the server. The server is the big man in the house. When something happens on the server, it happens to all the other clients. The clients are the individual players playing the game. When something happens in one client, it stays on that client. To make a script, I usually go to service and add in a script. This script is a server script because it runs on the server. But now, what if we wanted to make a script that only runs on the clients? We would need to go down to StarterPlayer. And in StarterPlayer, we have two options: StarterCharacterScripts and StarterPlayerScripts. StarterCharacterScripts run scripts whenever the character is added to the game and when the character resets. StarterPlayerScripts only run scripts whenever the player joins the game. So let's go ahead and add in a new type of script called a local script that will only run on the client inside of StarterPlayerScripts. So now we're in our local script. And remember, the local script will only run on the client. So let's say we added in a part to our game and wanted to change its brick color to be really red. So we would go local part is going to equal workspace dot part, and then we're going to change the part's brick color to be a new brick color, which is going to be really red. So now if we test our game, this should change the part's color to be really red. But now we're in our game, and we see the part's brick color did not change, and not only that, we got an error that part is not a valid member of workspace. But this is just not true, because if we check the workspace, we can clearly see the part. So what's going on here? So as it turns out, the client is able to load a lot faster than the server. So the reason we didn't find a part is because the server never had time to spawn in the part in the first place. So we tried to get a part that never existed there. So what we have to do in order to get the part in the client is wait for the part to first load in. And we could do this using a task.wait. So we're gonna wait 1 second for the part to load in. And now if we test the game, now it's able to find the part and turn the part's brick color to be red. Even though task.wait works, it doesn't guarantee that everything loads inside of our game. So if we want to guarantee that our part has already loaded, instead of using task.wait, we can use a built-in Roblox function called WaitForChild. What this is going to do is going to wait for that specific object to continue the script. So we're going to add in a string here and wait for our part, which is in our workspace. So now instead of guessing the time it's going to take for our part to load, we know that exact time since the script is going to wait till that part is added onto the workspace. And now if we go ahead and play test the game, as you can see, it's able to find the part and turn the part red. And now we're not guessing the amount of time it's going to take for the part to load. Scripts inside of StarterPlayerScripts are located inside of the player service. Find our player, go to player scripts, and now we can see our local script. If we were to add a local script instead to the starter character scripts, and if we try to find that script inside of player scripts, as you can see, we cannot find the second local script. This is because the script is instead located inside of our character in the workspace. Now we can find that local script. Now let's instead use the local script we added into our starter character scripts. In this script, remember, it's located inside of our character, so we could just get everything in the character from this one script. So let's say we wanted to get just our character, we would do script, which is the script itself, dot parent, which should be the character because the script is a child of the character if we put it inside of starter character scripts. So now if we were to print out our character, you would think it wouldn't work, but it does. This is because our character needs to load in before the script is added onto it. That's why we didn't need to wait for our character. Remember, character scripts run whenever the character spawns in. So if we reset, as you can see, it's gonna run that script yet again and print out my character name again. Now we're back to our local script inside of StarterPlayerScripts. With a local script, we're able to easily access the player. So to do this, we first need to get the player service, which is going to be game get service players which gets the player service in the Explorer. Using the player service, we could get the local player. And the local player is basically the player that owns this local script. So to do this, we just do players.localPlayer. Now if we were to print out local player, if we test our game, and instead of using the normal test, we use server and clients, and then test, this is going to spawn in a server and 2 other players inside of it. So as you can see, player 1 prints out player 1 in the output, and then player 2 prints out player 2 in the output, because the local script is confined to their specific client. And then if we go over here to the server, we can see it does not print out anything in the output because the local scripts are running on the client, not on the server. As we just saw, when we printed the player's name on the client, that does not print on the server. It's because when something happens on the client, it stays on the client and does not transfer to the server. If we again change our part spread color to be really red and test our game, it's really red, but remember this is only on the client. If we change to the server view by going up here and clicking on this toggle client view, now we can see from the server that did not change the parts brick color because that change only stays on the client. The server's job is to hold information such as the player's stats. The client's job is to receive inputs from the player and take care of all the visuals in the game. You should never trust any information with the client because remember the client is the device of the player and they could easily go into the game's files and alter those scripts. You should always handle visuals on the client. This is because we don't want to give the server any unnecessary work that will just slow it down. Plus, it's a lot smoother when visuals are client-sided. It's because the client doesn't have to wait for the server to tell it what to do and it can just do it. Well, that was it for today's video. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them down in the comments. If you found this video useful, consider giving it a like and maybe subscribing. Anyways, have a good rest of your day, and goodbye.